Hey everyone, I'm Mila, I'm a type 1 diabetic, and today I'm going to be telling you the very weird story of how I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at 19 years old. So buckle up, this story is going to be kind of weird. Just a little disclaimer here, this story is almost 2 years old now and was spread out over more than half a year. So some details might be a little exaggerated, I might go off on tangents and remember some things, and sorry if this video is super long, but I want you guys to have a funny now, scary then, story of what happened to me and that kind of stuff. So let's get into it. So to be fair, I probably should have caught that I had diabetes just based on the symptoms that I had, but of course I didn't think I had diabetes. So yeah, I'm gonna start the story, and I am reading because I went through old medical documents and stuff like that, so I could have like a nice little concise story. So yeah, I might just read this, I might not, we'll see what I do. All right. All started in January of 2018. This particular year, I had made a New Year's resolution to get into shape and, lose the weight I had wanted to be losing forever. But this was my first year at university, and the freshman 15, was a thing, and I was like kind of sick of it and done with it. So I was like, I'm gonna exercise 5 days out of the week for an hour or so every day, and I'm gonna watch what I eat. I'm gonna write down everything that I eat. And I started doing some of it. I started working out a few nights here and there, and it became kind of sporadic because that was my first semester taking 20 credits and having, geez, how many classes did I have? 6? Yeah, 6 classes. 2 of them being laboratory classes, and it was just kind of a mess. And I thought I was doing really well with portion control, but I wasn't. I wasn't really doing that much to lose weight, but I was losing about 2 pounds a week, which is what you're supposed to be doing if you're trying to lose weight. That was the first symptom that I had, and it goes on throughout the rest of the story. So, slowly shrinking down to the size that I wanted to be. So the next symptom that I probably should have noticed was that I was super thirsty literally all the time. I would have to get up from class and refill my water bottle like 2 or 3 times in an hour-long class. That's not normal. So I would finish at least 2 water bottles, and at this time I carried a liter water bottle. I finished 2 of those in a class, and I was always had water in my mouth drinking it. And if I didn't, it felt like my teeth were sticking to my lips, and that's why I always had water in my mouth, because it felt weird to not have teeth stick to your lips. So I was like, I'll just drink water all the time, it's fine, it'll help keep me full so I don't eat as much when I'm eating. That's not like a healthy mindset to have, and I realized that, but that's what went through my head. It was a hard semester, I was taking heavy course load, having issues with friends and stuff. It was the second semester of me being away at school, so things, hectic. Okay, so I'm sure you guys know if you drink a lot of water, you also have to go to the bathroom a lot, and I was doing that. At the highest period, like the highest frequency, I guess, of me getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, it was like 4 or 5 times a night, which was kind of ridiculous, especially since I was in college and you need your sleep. So that wasn't good. During that semester, I applied for and was hired as a resident assistant for the next school year, and because of that, I decided to stick out my social issues on campus and, stay there, because before I had been hired, I was like, well, if I don't get this, maybe it's a sign that I'm at the wrong school. So I decided to stay because I had a job now and would probably get more friends through work. And I did. So during the summer, I worked as a CNA, a certified nurse's aide, at a nursing home. To any of you CNAs out there watching this, that job is hard, and you all know it. It's super physically demanding sometimes, and residents can be combative even if they need your help, but they don't want it, whatever. You have to move people from their wheelchair to their beds and back again, and you have to shower them and feed them, and it's a lot of work. And it was super physically demanding of me. And let me pull this up. I normally wear glasses. So the physical, how physically demanding the job was made me even more thirsty. So in one 8-hour shift, I was probably drinking between 8 and 12 liters of water. So basically, anytime I wasn't with a resident, I was guzzling water from my water bottle. Oh dear, I think it's okay. Again, this was a while ago, so those numbers may be a little bit different from what actually happened, but I was going to, that was around what it was. And I was also going to go to the bathroom a lot while I was on shift, which wasn't really good. And I was still losing a lot of weight. My eyes also changed that summer. Normally, I wear glasses. I usually don't while filming because lighting and stuff, and it reflects back, and you need to be able to see my face properly while I'm filming a video, so I don't wear my glasses here. But over the summer, my eyes went from nearsighted to farsighted. So I stopped wearing my glasses altogether, which, they were causing me headaches and they weren't doing me any favors anyway, so I just stopped wearing them. So yeah, that was really, really weird. So yeah, that was my summer. Once the school year started again, everything I had experienced was still continuing. My eyes were still weird. I was still super thirsty. I, was losing weight. It was just kind of a mess. But 2 weeks into the semester, I was noticing that I had some hair thinning. I was just like, oh, it's probably fun, stress, your hair falls out sometimes. It's fine. It's fine. I've always had super thick curly hair, and I absolutely love it. So it was kind of stressful for me to be like, oh, well, your hair's thinning now. Great. And then Hurricane Florence came through my area. So my university evacuated, and I was sent home to be with my parents during that time. And, we were just kind of hunkered down at home waiting for the hurricane to go over. On the drive home from college to home, wow, can you tell I'm tired? The drive usually takes 4 to 5 hours depending on traffic. On this drive, I had to stop at every single rest area. There are 4 of them, and some gas stations just so I could use the bathroom, refill my water bottle, and if I needed to buy some Gatorade or water or whatever. My car's AC didn't work at the time, and I knew I hadn't eaten a good meal right before I left, so I thought, maybe I have a low blood sugar issue, and that's why I'm super, super hot, besides the car being overheating and all of that. And I was kind of sleepy, so I was like, well, normally when I'm warm I get sleepy, so let's get something cold to cool me down and wake me up a bit, because I thought, sugar in your system should wake you up. That's normally what parents think when they give their kids sugar. They go nuts. So I stopped at a couple of Dairy Queens. I did this twice on my trip home, I think. And I got some ice cream. It was really good. I like ice cream. I have a sweet tooth. So yeah, no, I thought that would help. It turns out it did not, because on this drive home, I probably was close to passing out twice. And again, at the time I was just like, oh, well, I'm just super sleepy. That's what's going on. I, must not have rested well the night before. I'm just really exhausted from having to drive, all that kind of stuff. I was rationalizing it. It made sense to me that I was sleepy. But I was actually probably passing out, or getting close to passing out. I won't say passing out because I didn't do that, but I was close, probably. While I was home, I got my hair trimmed, because it just needed a little touch up. I didn't get one right before I went back to school, and I wanted my hair cut. While there, my hairstylist, who is a family friend of ours, she pulled me outside the salon in the back and was like, hey, I'm getting concerned about your hair. You're balding back here, and that's never been a thing before, so I'm worried about you. I think maybe you might have a thyroid issue. You could have some stress alopecia, or alopecia developing. So you might want to get that checked out before you go back to school. And I was so upset. I started bawling on the spot. And I don't like to cry in front of people who I'm not super close with. I just don't like to cry. So I was bawling in front of this lady because I was like, I'm not that stressed. It's just the first 2 weeks of the semester. You know, I'm making good grades so far. I have friends. I have this job that I love. I was doing well. And I like was finally super confident in myself and the way that I looked physically. So I was like, I'm not stressed out at all. This is really weird. Like, what's going on with me? I was like scared. So after the haircut and the hurricane that had passed, or that went through without much happening to my hometown, my mom scheduled me a doctor's appointment so that I could get some blood work taken. And I went, they took some blood. I went on my way. It was fine. I was like, yeah, it's probably nothing. They just want to, it was fine. Now at this point in the story, it was getting to be time for me to go back home, or go back to school. It feels like home. I'm sorry guys, I'm sitting on the ground and my legs really like to fall asleep while I sit on the ground, and I'm trying not to let that happen because it's not very comfy. So I'm having to move around a lot. So yeah, it was time for me to go back home. It was Monday, September 17th, 2018, and I was eating lunch, about to drive back home, pack up my car and drive back home after the hurricane and all that. My doctor's office called me because they had the test results, and normally I don't pick up the phone for anyone that I don't have saved in my phone. And usually I'll just let doctor's offices leave a message. That way I have a recording of it so that I can go back and like listen to it multiple times if I need to. But that time I did pick it up. Thank God I did. They called and they were like, hey, you really need to get to the emergency room because your blood sugar levels are way too high. And I was like, oh my goodness, okay, thank you for letting me know. I'll go there right now. And they're like, all right, stay safe, bye, or whatever. So I told my dad, and he got me in the car, started driving me to the ER. He was speeding because he was trying to get his daughter to the emergency room, and you know, that's kind of what you do. I called my mom, and that was the right decision, but I started crying, or getting close to crying, because I was super emotional about it. I was like, something big is happening if my doctor is telling me to go to the ER. And I want to be going back to school right now. I don't want to, like, this is ridiculous and I don't want to do this, but I have to. So I let her know what was going on. She said she'd meet us there. I get to the ER, and once they like get me checked in and settled and stuff, they test my blood sugar, and the machine just said high, H-I-G-H. That's all it said. It didn't give a number or anything. It just said high, and that was scary. I like felt my stomach drop because I was like, well, maybe, you know, their lab just messed up and I'm actually fine. But the ER then tested my blood sugar on something else, and that machine said that my blood sugar was over 700. I don't remember the exact number. My mom likes to claim that it was 790, but I don't know if that's what it was. So I'll just say over 700. It was super high. For those of you who don't know, for a normal diabetic, they like your numbers to be below 250. And I was way over that. It was a mess. So they got me a bed in the emergency room, and then they transferred me over to an adjoining campus of the hospital, and got me on an IV drip because I was dehydrated, and also IV drip of insulin to start trying to get my blood sugar down. I was in that hospital from Monday till Friday. I was discharged Friday afternoon. I stayed at home that night and to get used to being diabetic, and I went back to school that Saturday. Yeah, it was a big mess. So here is the first. All right, hey, so editor's note real quick. I not good at editing, so instead of like showing you these 3 photos separately, I will insert the image of all 3 photos that I mentioned with the dates on them, so you can see them that way. So yeah, all right, back to the actual video now. Super different in those photos, and that's because I was in the first one I'm super sick, and in the second one I'm on my way to recovery, and it was super messy, but yeah, so that's my diagnosis story. To the best ability of mine to be able to remember it. It was kind of a lot. It was super scary for me, and I'm super glad it's over, and I hope I never ever have to go back into the hospital again for diabetes related anything. Fingers crossed. So anyway, please feel free to share your story below. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to learn more about diabetes from a patient perspective, please subscribe. As always, I will see you all in a couple of weeks. Bye guys!